Well, the PS5 Pro just had a lot of new information come out, leaks from multiple different sources, and right on the heels of everybody sort of doubting whether or not it was going to release in 2024 because of one simple tweet from Tom Henderson. Now, in my latest video, I walked through all that information. We have tech leaks about RDNA 4. We have leaks about the announcement date. Is it going to be happening at Tokyo Game Show, or are they going to be doing their own showcase earlier than that in the first 2 weeks of September? And then Tom Henderson indicated what the deadline is now for if you have to make a game for PlayStation, or if you're making a game for PlayStation, you're going to have to support the PS5 Pro, and all of that is in that video. And I argue in the video, I think this basically confirms it is coming in 2024. We are far too close to the fourth quarter. We're far too close to September for these leaks to not essentially be an indication that the thing is coming. Now, obviously, everybody says, well, we haven't heard anything official from PlayStation. That's not how these things work. So we have new information. We have vetted insiders who have contacts. We've gotten, pieces of information and documents that have been verified as authentic once the dev kits were in circulation earlier this year. So I want to talk about this with you guys. So if you're watching this past broadcast later, make sure and go check out that upload. It's on the channel fresh right now. It says PS5 Pro confirmed for 2024. And in this one, we're just going to be talking about the leaked info and what we think it means for gaming in 2024. So always be sure to check out those uploads in the morning. And if you're a member, be sure to show up for the morning coffee with members. That way you can know what I think. And now it's time to know what you think. So thank you guys so much for being here. Go through the morning ritual. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Smash that like button. A bunch of you here already. Nice, strong start to the day. Thank you for all the support lately. The uploads have just been doing so incredibly well, and that just is a great feeling that you guys are buying into it and supporting it. We're putting more and more work into those videos. The turnaround time on the videos is just incredibly fast. Creatures, able to crank out a video the next day, and and that's not typical for editors and YouTube channels. So thank you guys so much for making this thing that we're doing work, which is a daily upload and then a talk show afterwards. And I want to know what you guys think about this. Now, I don't agree. Eugene said this before. I do not think that Tom was baiting relevancy so he could drop an article. I think he was planning on releasing that article. I think that was already planned. Obviously, it got everybody talking about it. But if I'm Tom, I don't want a bunch of other people talking about the PS5 Pro if I'm about to. You could argue it one way. You could say, well, it makes it really, really relevant. But you could argue another way and say, well, now he gave a bunch of other people the opportunity to talk about it before him. So I don't know. He doesn't seem the type to do that. I think he was just responding and being silly. I don't think he was like, oh yeah, I can't wait for a bunch of people to make articles about this tweet so that then I can make my own article. Because again, now he's competing in the algo with other articles. So I don't think that would make much sense to bait it and have other people make videos and articles basically cluttering up and crowding him out in the algo. He would want to be there first. That's how that works. If with what he does and how relevancy works, he would want to be there first. And Han shot first, and so did you, DK Bager, with the first gifted member of the day. We were off to a slower start yesterday, but we'll see if today doesn't go a little bit better. We got a huge goal for the week. 600 members. You guys came close to that last week. You got well over 500. I had to play a scary game on Friday night, so be sure to check that out if you missed it. But this Friday, you can make myself and my wife and Creature play Overcooked together, and it'll be hilarious. So your member renewals count, your member giftings count. Just make sure you're on Member Plus or higher if you're going to renew for those to count. What's good, Zero Steel? Good to see you. Brooklyn Breed says his second article was basically saying a bunch of nothing. It wasn't saying a bunch of nothing. He had brand new information, Brooklyn Breed. He's like, listen, they had just given information to developers, like he said, like the week prior, saying if you want to make a game for our platform, it has to support the PS5 Pro after September the 15th going forward. I think that article was planned. I think it was ready to go. I don't think he walked out into the public and was like, I'm going to get everybody all in a tizzy and then I can drop my article. Because I'm telling you, with what he does, he wants to be first. He doesn't want to be like the follow-up article. He doesn't want to be like the the second in line. He wants to hit the algo first with information on the release date about that device. John Lepkowski hits a month. Thanks for being part of my mornings. Thank you so much, John Lepkowski, for renewing. I don't have with Insider, says Broken Lobo, but I trust Lono to glean the BS from relevant info. Well, I appreciate that, that confidence in me. I only go with people that I think are reputable and have a good track record. And Tom Henderson has an amazing track record, and Kepler has a very good track record. These guys tend to, every time, they're going with information. They're not like, oh, I heard. They're like, no, here's the document. Here's the email. Here's this thing that we vetted. That's exactly what he did, though. I don't think so. The tweet didn't even have that many views on it. He was just replying to some random guy. Like, if he was trying to bait the article, again, I think he would have gone a completely different direction. He would not have replied to a random person it was like 3 or 4 threads deep on the reply. He was like, yeah, if it releases this year. It was like he was being cheeky, and then a bunch of articles got written. Again, if you're him, you don't want that to happen. You want to be in the feed first. There's all these other articles ahead of his basically talking about the release date getting bumped to 2025, and then his article's just in the mix. The average person is going to think these guys are all competing to cover the same story. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying if that's what he was doing, the behavior doesn't make sense to reply to a random person 2 or 3 replies deep on a tweet so that he could be second to cover the story. That's not how these guys operate. When they've got a scoop, they sit on it, and they'll tell you, hey, I've got some info coming on PS5 Pro, and then they'll drop the article. It's one of the algo with his name front and center, and then he drops the article. I mean, I guess, but again, all the articles were saying could be delayed, notable insider. They weren't putting Tom Henderson in the headlines. So I don't think so. The reply was so random. I always believe the best about people unless I'm given a reason to not believe the best. He was 2 or 3 replies deep on some random guy. And if that's how you think he tried to bait a bunch of articles, he would have done it in a more prominent way. He would have guaranteed that it, that it got seen by more people. The tweet has like 8,000 views. It didn't even generate the hullabaloo that I think you're insinuating that it generated. Like 8,000 views? That's nothing. Like, that's meager in the grand scheme of things. True SSJ Havoc renews, and it's a VIP, and that bumps the line. Finally got a milestone. Chat. Felt like I missed some months ago. Lono, remember PS5 RDNA 1.5. Xbox guys are eating all types of crow. I love this community and hope it continues to thrive. Thank you so much, True SSJ Havoc. That bumps the line. And Joker Quinn bumps the line with a single gifted as well. You're not judging. A lot of people on Twitter do that. You guys can have your own theories. I mean, that's fine. I like I said, I believe the best about somebody unless I'm proven otherwise. And I don't think his reply 3 tweets deep is him being like, oh, I'm gonna get a bunch of articles written about me so then I can drop my article. I think him dropping the article first would be just as strong, if not stronger. So yeah, so I don't agree with your theory. I don't think it has legs. I think it's just a cynical way to look at somebody, and I don't like looking at people that way. So unless they give me a reason to think that. He's never, ever driven his relevancy that way. He's always driven his relevancy with, like, his reliability and his sources. So, In general, though, that's not the topic. That's not the topic. I don't want to get sidelined on cynicism about Tom Henderson. I don't think that that's helpful or worth discussing further than we already have. DK Baker gives a member and takes us to 4. Thank you so much. And I think what is more interesting is some of the hardware leaks as well as timing of the announcement and the fact that they're returning to Tokyo Game Show. Like, there's a lot there. You got Kepler saying basically, like, look, these updates are coming. RDNA 4 is coming, and most, if not all of these features are going to be on the PS5 Pro. And then you got Tom's Hardware coming out and being like, well, it's looking like we're going to be able to experience RDNA 4 first on the PS5 Pro. Like, the hardware guys are weighing in on this in a way that I think makes it look even more promising for what this thing's going to be able to do. TSMC had an absolutely giant spike in revenue in March and April this year. the PS5 launch showed a very similar year in terms of TSMC revenue and per month. Sony, AMD, and NVIDIA use TSMC for their silicon. We might get to see PS5 Pro launch, the new AMD Zen chips, and the RTX 50 NVIDIA cards this fall. Of course, it's just conjecture without being able to see more than an ambiguous net revenue number. Yeah, it was like when those screens spiked for one company, production for some screens, everybody was assuming it was for a Switch. Yo, DK Baker, did I count that one? Did I count DK Baker's new one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, I did. Okay, yes, I did. We got 4 members on the day already. Thank you so much. Yo, what's good, Captain Steve? Good to see you. I think we're getting it, yes, Captain Steve. I think they'll be announcing the PS5 Pro in September, releasing in November. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that there's theories about the announcement. There are people saying, oh, they're going to do it at Tokyo Game Show. They've not been at Tokyo Game Show for 5 years, right? They've not been there for 5 years, and they're finally returning. And people are like, oh, they're going to announce it there. You know. Excuse me. You're right. I got to understand your skepticism, but I don't like these guys in general. If they have good info, so be it, but I always give them the side eye. Yeah. I don't get into that. There are clout chasers, and there are people with sources. Tom Henderson has sources. He's not a clout chaser. You know, some of these guys out here just make stuff up and hope that they hit a bullseye so they can claim, I knew it. Belphegor gifts a member, and he sets up a 20-bomb dunker. We'll see. We're going to need a strong day to catch back up if you guys want to unlock making creatures show up on Friday night to play Overcooked. So you guys are going to have to send that bat signal up there and get some of the big boys in. So I actually don't know if they would do it at Tokyo Game Show. I think they would use Tokyo Game Show to ramp up marketing after they've already announced it. Like, that's my personal theory. My personal theory is PlayStation has made it very, very clear there's a pattern. They like to do things on their own. They like to do their own shows. They like to do their own pacing, their own marketing. I think they do their showcase on the 12th. I think Detective Seeds has good intel. I think they do the showcase on the 12th. And I think the following week is when they say, going forward, if a game releases on our platform, you have to support the PS5 Pro. Now, that doesn't mean you have to get the PS5 Pro enhanced label, but you've got to support it. You got to make sure your games run on PS5 Pro. Now, Tokyo Game Show is later in September. So I could see them doing their showcase. They announce it. They announce the PS5 Pro. They announce a bunch of games. Maybe even release something the next week. Maybe there's games releasing that month that are going to be, you know, supported on PS5 Pro. And then they go to Tokyo Game Show and announce everything. It makes no sense to have the showcase and go to Tokyo Game Show in the same month. I mean, they did their showcase one year, like 2 weeks before Summer Game Fest, and they had a presence at Summer Game Fest. I don't know what you mean. Like, last year, they did their big showcase after they waited a really long time, and then a week later was Summer Game Fest, and they showed up and gave Spider-Man release date and had a couple other things there as well, I think. Like, I think they'll do both. They did both just last year. I can't see them foregoing their showcase again and just doing Tokyo Game Show. That doesn't make any sense. That's not like them. Their pattern right now is they do their shows, they do their marketing, and if they show up to your event, they'll give you a couple of things. That's what they did last year. That showcase was considered the start of Summer Game Fest. PlayStation didn't say that. PlayStation didn't say that. Keighley sort of said that in like a tweet. That was not officially stated by anybody. Like, Keighley sent out a tweet and was like, kicking off Summer Game Fest. It was like, I mean, that's not what PlayStation said. And how do you kick off Summer Game Fest when Keighley does the kickoff event? Like, Keighley literally kicks off Summer Game Fest, and it's a week-long, it's like a week-long, half a week-long, weekend-long thing, and PlayStation kicked off Summer Game Fest a week and a half before? That doesn't even make any sense. Like, he said that, but that was not official. There was no Summer Game Fest branding during the PlayStation showcase. PlayStation didn't talk about Summer Game Fest. They didn't tweet about Summer Game Fest. They just did their showcase. And Keighley basically acted like it was the kickoff to Summer Game Fest when it really wasn't. That was not official at all. He just, like, I think he sent out like a tweet. PlayStation didn't say anything. 31, hang on, I missed another renewal. Hang on, was there two? No, there's just a one. Julio with 31 months in a VIP says, wow, 31 months on this channel already. Wish I could count the others, but back from work and lurk vacay. Thank you so much, man. Welcome back to your work and lurk. All you worker lurkers, make sure you guys are smashing a like button. Let's hit 200 likes really, really fast. Let's put this stream on a rocket. That video is already doing well. Thank you to everybody who supported that video this morning. It was a really, really strong turnout on the upload. So thank you to everybody that did that. What else is being improved besides ray tracing? Will there be a bump in FPS? If not, I don't see moving the needle for me. Everything we have heard from the verified documents about the PSSR technology is that it is going to do upscaling so that when you, let's say, for example, you turn on a ray tracing 30 FPS mode, they're going to be able to get you to 60 by doing upscaling on the resolution to basically soften the blow on everything else in the device. They're basically going to make it easier for you to do high-resolution ray tracing modes and not sacrifice your FPS. Those virtual events are not in an in-person expo with a giant booth. I'm not sure what you're saying, Eugene. I don't think it's beyond the scope of reason that they do their own showcase and then 2 weeks later, like Tokyo Game Show doesn't even start until the 26th. That's 2 weeks before. That's a 2-week window. That doesn't feel weird at all. Their first in-person show in 5 years. So you think they're putting all their eggs in Tokyo Game Show basket. I don't understand why they would do that and not do their own showcase. So for 5 years, they've shown that they like to do their own thing. Who compelled them to not do that this year with a new hardware announcement? That just doesn't stand to reason. When they announced the PS4 Pro, they did it. When they announced the PS5, they did it. When they're going to announce the PS5 Pro, they're not going to do it. They're going to go to Tokyo Game Show. Now, I'll grant you this. We could all be touching the same elephant. They could do their showcase at Tokyo Game Show. Like, they could literally show up, get a theater all set up, and do their showcase. Change of CEO. That's a fair point, SDO. That's fair. Maybe Herman Holst and this other guy are like, listen, we need to go back to these events and have a presence. And a 20 bomb from MASH. Someone sent out the bat signal, and that is an agent of chaos. Now, MASH is going to need some help. You can't have this guy doing it all on his own. He's been absolutely instrumental in us hitting goals, and he blasts us past 25. That's a 20 bomb agent of chaos. Welcome in everybody who got a gifted member from MASH. Like, I could see that. That's a fair point. They switched CEOs. The new CEOs, they split it. Herman Holst and this other guy could be like, listen, we need to get back to these events. We need to have a presence. Like, we are in a dominant position right now, and we can flex that at these events. We can't be all insulated and separate. It doesn't make any sense. Now, Fallout from Dishonor says, RDNA 3 was rumored for the PS5 and it didn't happen. This isn't a rumor. It's a document leak. Yeah, this isn't a rumor. This is a document leak. Like, Kepler doesn't spread rumors. He's like, yeah, here's a document. I'm leaking a document. That's not the same as a rumor. Lobo says, PS5 Pro launch with a new title and a showcase of enhanced games, in my opinion. I'm happy to be wrong. Exciting regardless. Yes, I agree. And DK Bager gifts a member and bumps the line to 27, the king of the single gifted. Thank you so much, DK Bager. DK Bager is back. That makes no sense. They could just have their own showcase. I'm not kidding you. It literally, some of this could be in response to the fact that with Xbox completely changing strategy and PlayStation's dominance undeniable at this point with respect to hardware saturation and just what they're able to do with their property. They're dominating charts with third party. So Herman Hulse is probably thinking, and these other guys are probably thinking, we need to go back to these events. We're the king now, especially with Nintendo leering around the corner with the Switch 2. It's like, we need to have a presence at these events. We can't just sit on the sidelines. We're in a strong position. We need to show up. We need to be a part of what's going on. Tokyo Game Show could just be a victory lap. Your PS5 never overheats. It doesn't even suck in dust. I mean, if your PS5's overheating, I would check where you have it located. I've got two, and they've never overheated. Ever. I don't even think they don't even get loud. It's not even, I don't even know if I've ever heard the fan spin up to be like, oh man, it's getting hot. I mean, granted, I don't put them in a location. If you have them like in an entertainment center, you got to have that airflow, man. You can't do that. Drebin Slayer says, I love these intro videos. It sets the table for the action ahead. They're well thought out. It gets me pumped for the talk shows. Keep up the great work. Glad you enjoyed them. Thank you very, very much. Reckless Gambit says, sounds like someone got their hands on a techno babble generator. I don't know what any of that stuff means, but I guess it sounds good. Yeah, it did sound a little weird. It's like hyper thread of nodes and stuff. It's like, huh? Do you have 7 dogs and cats? Is the PS5 full of fur? Mine enclosed off media cabinet with fans and has never had issues. Well, the cabinet has fans, though. Some people are going to be just shoving it into, you know, an entertainment center they bought from Target, and it's just going to be, you know, just that particle board, and you're just putting it in a slat in between. You got particle board and top and bottom. There ain't no airflow in there. You have crayon marks on your white plates. That's phenomenal. I would just let him have at it. Just take the plates off and let him color a picture. You know, that would be cool. PlayStation's roots are in Japan. They want to be in front of mind marketing, especially considering Nintendo coming next year. That's not a terrible theory, OG DSB, but when I said that a while ago, everybody told me, like, no, PlayStation's more prominent in the West and Europe. And I was like, what? Like, they don't have it. Maybe that's why they're doing it, though, right? Maybe they want a better presence and foothold in Japan. And again, maybe they're saying, we put ourselves into a great position. We need to stop doing this thing where we don't show up to events. It doesn't make any sense. You know? This guy here, Visual Walkthrough, says, I don't see it coming only because of the PS4 Pro. It was needed at the time, but right now, PS5 Pro is not needed, in my opinion. There's just too many verified documents for it to not exist. The denial is strong, really, with some people. The denial is strong. This thing exists. There is way too many people. The dev kits, you know, the data mine code in No Man's Sky. This thing exists, you know? Everybody said the exact same thing about the PlayStation Q Lite, about the handheld. Everybody said the same thing. No way, doesn't exist, that's fake. And then when it exists, it's DOA, no one's going to buy it. It's, you know, one of the best-selling accessories in the market. So what next are we going to do? This thing is real, man. You don't have to want it. You don't have to think it's worthy of purchase. It's real, and I think plenty of people are going to buy it. I think it's going to be hard to get one. It's real and it's spectacular. Great Seinfeld reference. Don't forget my comment earlier. PlayStation should make it mandatory for devs to develop for the PS5 Pro, but they can't develop for the Series S. Yeah, so Rich Rod brought that up in Members Coffee. That's a great reason to be a member. Is we start the day at 9 o'clock. We actually hang out before the upload goes live. Great reason to be a member. Great reason to gift some members and be there every morning. And Rich Rod brought that up, and I said, listen, bring that to the live show. I don't think PlayStation's going to have to do anything. I don't think they're going to have to tell developers, hey, if you build for us, you can't build for the Xbox Series S. I don't think that's going to be needed. I think the Series S will experience natural selection. I do. I think that the Xbox Series S will experience technological natural selection, where it's survival of the fittest, and devs are going to go where they feel they can get the best results, and that is not it. That's not it. More and more devs are going to be like, I mean, how many games are going to come late to Xbox? You are not going to have to force anybody. PlayStation wouldn't even want to do that. Like, hey, you better not develop for the other guys. They're not going to have to do that. They're going to be like, listen, man, look at all you can do over here with ray tracing now. Look at all this pretty stuff you can do. Oh, all those pain points you've been experiencing this generation, all those, suites of features in ray tracing you've wanted to do, yeah, you can do that now. And you obviously have to shut that off for the PS5. You'd have to strip things down to what it's been now, which is perfectly fine. You have quality modes and performance modes, but they're going to have like performance ray tracing modes on this thing. Like that's going to be a thing that devs are going to want to do. Yo, what's good, Cat? Looking to try and clean it myself. All the best. Yeah, take the plates off and clean it out. I've had people literally tweet about that. I've seen people tweet. They're like, yeah, mine was overheating, and then they took it apart, and it was a dust bunny haven. Technological natural selection. Yeah, I know that technological and natural are almost like antonyms, but still, that to me is going to happen. It happens already. Right, like it's a force of nature. Like that's just what happens. Tech moves forward, old tech gets left behind. When you enter the market and you're already behind, this isn't even a conversation anymore. It's over. It's done. Devs aren't going to want to build for that box. That's not hate. I'm not trying to criticize the people that bought it. I'm not even trying to criticize Xbox anymore. It's like it's over. It's done with. They made the decision. I didn't agree with the decision. It's harmed the entire generation. And there's the ripple effects haven't even really truly made landfall yet. They're just starting to make landfall. Yeah, it's a simple market reality. It's like that thing's getting left behind. And do you want to know what raises the tide even faster? Stronger equipment. The more you get stronger equipment in the market, the faster that tide rises. It's like PS5 Pro hits. See, computers are getting new upgraded peripherals every year. They're trying to do more with ray tracing. They're trying to do more with all these upscalers. It's like, you're going to get left behind, bro. That's just the nature of things. It's not good or bad. It's not something to celebrate. It's just like, this is just the thing that happens. Your PS5 bricked? Was it under warranty? You know what I mean? Should have been able to just get it replaced. Whiskey Neat says, can't wait to get the console again. If you guys leave comments on the upload, you might get featured in the live stream. Whiskey Neat says, can't wait for the to get a console again. My PC's great for indies I got it for, but it's showing its age with AAA titles. Hopefully I can get my hands on a Pro when it comes out. Best of luck, dude. Best of luck. I really hope that they give preferential, like they did where if you have an account, you can log in and reserve one, because the scalpers, man, get out of here. Parasito says, Switch has sold 6 times as many units in Japan as the PS5, so yeah, Sony might want to get back into the game on the home field. Yeah, the Nintendo Switch is owned by 1 in every 4 people in Japan. The number of Switches sold in Japan versus the population is just incredible. The saturation is nuts. Can you imagine? Imagine just going into a city like New York and selling something and 1 in every 4th person bought it. That kind of adoption rate's insane. Alex Gaming says, GTA 6 on a PS5 Pro is enough for me to get one, hopefully, at launch. I hope you get one. I think they're gonna be tough to get. JC, I'm sorry, no, this is Lido. Lido says, hopefully the PS5 Pro comes with a strong launch title. Looking at you, Sucker Punch. Same, dude. Give us Ghost of Tsushima 2, man. Now this is True SSJ Havoc. He says, I 100% agree. It's been speculated for a while now that September will be the month Sony will reveal the Pro. Some would bring up the PS4 Pro or even previous leaks to substantiate that claim. With the evidence in this video, it is all but assured. Also, to think that the Pro would be the first place to have RDNA 4 is nuts. As a PC gamer who roots for AMD, it'll be crazy to see their offering this time around. Also shuts up the Xbox fanboys that used to say the Series X and S will full RDNA 2, while PS5 was like RDNA 1.4. Mile High says, I'm not personally in the market for a PS5, but my kids will. They still play on the 4s, and this thing is releasing soon. May just wait on the upgrade. I think that's a good plan. I think right now, if you're in the market for one, I would just wait. Now, I don't think they're going to lower the cost of the I don't think they're going to lower the cost of the standard PS5. So I wouldn't be like, oh, wait and get it on sale. I would wait and try and get a Pro. That would be my advice. I use this to clean my PS5 and it helps. It's, oh yeah, compressed air duster. Oh yeah, like that. It almost looks like a little vacuum cleaner. Yeah. Are they still doing Prime Days? No, Prime Days are over, aren't they? They were doing Prime Days for a while and you could get some of that stuff marked down. If you guys ever use Amazon to order stuff, remember, we do have an affiliate link below. We almost never talk about it, but when you use that, it does support me. You don't get any kind of a discount or anything, but it does support me. And Kat comes in with the 10 bomb and takes us to 37 members on the day. Thank you so much, Kat. She's like, come on, boys. Let's make Creature play Overcooked on Friday night. It would be hysterical. This guy says, I just got rid of my PS5 because I'm no longer interested in giving Sony any money. I couldn't care less about them releasing one, and let's be real, I don't see people paying a lot of money for an updated Pro at this point in time. It will sell out and be tough to get. Bet. I mean, if you don't like Sony anymore, that's fine, but this thing's going to sell out. You're going to have a hard time getting one. The people in this market don't hold back on buying new items that are better. That's just not the case. Whether it's a brand new iPhone or a brand new television. Now, if it's a brand new peripheral and it's like people aren't sure about it, like the thing you can wear on your face, you know, VR has struggled with saturation in sales. That Apple thing they put on their face didn't seem like it was doing all that well. That's a new peripheral. But when you come out with something that's stronger and there's already a base of people that are familiar with it, whether it's a better TV or a better phone, it's going to sell. That's just the way that this industry works. That's not fanboyism. That's just observation of how the market reacts to new luxury tech items. They don't sit. New peripherals are in a different category. This isn't a new peripheral. It's a stronger version of something that people are familiar with. So, yeah, and I've been very pleased. I've been very pleased with the games that I've got this generation for my PS5, and I trust that I'll get even better stuff and updates on those same games and future games on the Pro. They've won my confidence. The Nintendo Switch has won my confidence. Not for power, but for just good games. Like, I know that there'll be future games that will be good. Like, that's because they've won my confidence this gen. They release games that are so good that, like, I played Breath of the Wild and just had to suffer through 30 FPS. Like, that's how good that game was. Like, when a company earns your trust through quality instead of, like, weird brand allegiance, it's just a different mindset. It's a totally different mindset. Like, it's my allegiance is to the quality that I've received, not I don't care who the brand is, but the companies that have been delivering, I'll continue to buy from. That's how it's always been for me. That's how it is with, like, my wife has these water bottles around the house, man, and the reason she likes them and the reason she gets more and the reason she encourages her friends to get them is because they're great and they don't leak and the ice cubes never melt. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's the same in those environments too. You don't have to. I don't care if you're like, hey, I don't want a PS5 Pro. I don't want a PlayStation. Fine. I hope whatever you buy is great and you have a good time in gaming. I don't really, to me, I'll buy them all if I can and if there's good games for all the platforms. Like, I just own them all if you can. And if you can't, then go where you think you're going to get the best quality. There are people right now that are probably waiting for the Switch 2 more than any other console. Why? That's just what they want. That's what they like to play. I'll have to see the updates of the games we'll get for the Pro. I really want to play Jedi Survivor at 60 FPS at a higher resolution than 720. Performance mode looks horrible. I don't know the exact breakdown of performance mode, COTS, so I can't counter what you're saying. I don't feel like I played a 720 game. I feel like I can tell when the resolution plummets to maintain 60, and I don't recall ever playing Jedi Survivor and being like, oh gosh, it's hideously ugly and low res. Like, did you watch like a tech breakdown? Did the internal res at some specific point drop that low? Because internal res dropping is not necessarily the res that you're seeing. I don't think that's true about Jedi Survivor. I don't have data to counter your claim. I only have my experience, and I played through the entire game and never once felt like, oh gosh, it's dropping to like 720. That's below 1080. Like, I don't think that happened. And if it did happen, I don't think that happened on a regular basis. It sucks on PC. Now, that is true. That is true. Jedi Survivor on PC is bad. It still has a bad score, deservedly so. They should be embarrassed for what they did. I never got what appeared to be 720, says Sven. I did get pretty terrible ghosting effects. Yeah, sometimes on like Cal. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing. They're doing something similar in that Outlaws game. Like, what the heck? Why is there like an outer glow black shadow on everybody? Kingslayer says, PS5 Pro is a day one buy for me. They have yet to do me wrong. Spent 7 years on Xbox, came to PlayStation 2 years ago. It's been the best move I've made. Side note, possible Ghost of Tsushima 2 announcement with the Pro. Let's get to soon. Let's get Ghost of Tsushima 2 soon, man. I want that game so bad. I want it so bad. Thank you guys for all these comments on that video, man. Holy mackerel. A whole new batch of them came in. You guys threw your weight behind that video this morning, and it is it's doing great. So thank you so much for doing that. You've been playing Starfield and Redfall? Oh, you're saying have fun playing Starfield and Redfall. I mean, if that's what people like, I don't even care about that anymore. I like to go where the good games are. I don't care where I have to go to do it. It's why I'd be excited about a sideload PC for my living room. Because, like, that I saw a trailer for that game this morning. What's it called? Windblown? It's from the makers of Dead Cells. It's like a 1 to 3 player, like, little rogue. Oh, it looks so good, and it's going to be early access on PC, probably like Hades too. It's like, man, I'd love to be able to just boot that up in the living room. Let's do a poll, day one, late, or never. I don't like doing polls because everybody complains about them. It sits at the top and you got to dismiss it, and I don't like doing polls in the chat. My son's going to be on my head when I get the Pro, like, where's mine's at? Well, my kiddos right now are going to completely take over my PlayStation 5s when Astrobot comes out. I'm not going to get to play. So, hopefully, shortly after Astrobot comes out, well, that Astrobot comes out in September, like early September, hopefully I can get the Pro. And be like, well, this one's mine. This is mine. Did you ever play Returnal? Returnal's one of my all-time favorite games. I think it's fantastic. $5 super chat from Vote Naturalized Citizen Crusader. Now that's a username right there. $5 super chat says, it is super confirmed that all games releasing after September 15th will also be PS5 Pro supported. If it's true, then I may hold off on Silent Hill 2 and Metal Gear Solid 4. Okay, let me not confuse you, okay? The latest information from Tom Henderson, which I believe to be legitimate because he is reliable and he has sources, he reports on verified information. He doesn't run with rumors, okay? Tom Henderson indicated that if you deliver a game to PlayStation after September the 15th, it has to support the PS5 Pro. That does not mean those games will be PlayStation 5 Pro enhanced. PS5 Pro enhanced is different. That means they went in and specifically did things in order to get that label. Supporting the PS5 Pro simply means you have to make sure your game will run fine on the PS5 Pro. Like, you're going to have to do, I would imagine, some semblance of testing. I don't think they're going to have to do much. It's just going to be a stronger machine. It's not going to require a bunch of extra work, but it's going to require some work. And they're essentially saying, listen, you need to make sure your games going forward after September 15th support the Pro. Again, you need to hear this. That does not mean that every single game that releases after September the 15th on the PlayStation 5 Pro will be enhanced. Now, I would not be surprised if that gets misrepresented and lied about in the middle of September. Just write it down. There'll be YouTube videos and tweets from people lying, and they're going to say, oh, but we were told every game after September the 15th was going to be enhanced. No, that is not what is being claimed in Tom Henderson's article. He is simply saying you must support it, as in you need to release a game that will play on both of these. You need to make sure the game's compatible, that people will be able to download it, play it, and make it work. You need to do a test run on the Devkit. That is not what PS5 Pro Enhanced is. PS5 Pro Enhanced is a label for games that hit specific thresholds that then PlayStation wants to advertise and say, hey, this is a PS5 Pro Enhanced game. So, I guarantee you that will be misrepresented. People will run out here and say, you got scammed, you got lied to, you bought a PS5 Pro, and these games aren't even PS5 Pro Enhanced. So, tomorrow's news today, I just think liars are easy to predict their behavior, and I think that's what people will do. They will run back to this article from Tom Henderson or other articles or YouTube videos that report on what he said. They'll misrepresent it so that then they can make the false claim that, yep, you're not getting enhanced games. And it's like, that's not at all what Tom Henderson claimed. So, as soon as I read what he said, and, I made my video, and I was listening to the video this morning, I was like, oh, here we go. I know what this is going to turn into. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. There'll be so much salt over it. I mean, there'll be only salt if you don't like new things and better things. Like, who cares if it comes out and it's better and does a better job and has enhanced games, If you don't want it, don't, cool. Like, I haven't upgraded my PCs in years. And if people want to do that and spend that kind of money on a video card, man, more power to you. Have a ball, dude. I don't know if I've ever been upset by a new video card announcement. I don't know if I've ever been upset by a new video card announcement, Yeah, it's stupid. Look how expensive it is to get, better performance on stuff that you already own. Like, I don't care. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Upgrade all that stuff. Have a blast. Enjoy your hobby. Enjoy it. Silent Spartan says it's a day one purchase for me. Game Night says I could see Sony doing a deep dive with Mark Cerny on the Pro last week of August, showcase second week of September, and then Tokyo Game Show just shine a further spotlight on it while showing other games. That's not a bad theory, but I would bet announcement first, right? Before a deep dive with Cerny. I don't think you do a deep dive with Cerny. I think you have a big main stage announcement somewhere, whether it's Tokyo Game Show or their own showcase, or they do their showcase at Tokyo Game Show. Like, whatever it is that they're going to do, if they do a deep dive with Cerny, that wouldn't come first. I think that would come after. You know what I mean? Everyone have a good show. Stuck at home sick. Have a good one. Thank you, Johnny. I mean, I guess I would have to wait for Sony to come out themselves in September and talk about the PS5 Pro Enhanced games. Well, yes, let them set the terms of the expectations. Yo, Johnny, welcome back. Still holding on September 12th. Seeds, you're in my video. I included you in my video. I said, insanely aggressive PlayStation fan makes prediction. No, I said friend of the channel, Detective Seeds, claims to have been told by two sources that this is happening on the 12th. And I said, that lines up. It does. It lines up. The 12th's a Thursday, and then that Sunday is the 15th. That next week, it's like games going forward have to support the Pro. Why? Because it's just been announced. You got to support it now. If you launch games after the announcement, it has to be playable, or that wouldn't make any sense. Yo, Alex Mercer with a $2 super chat for GTA 6. I'll get the Pro. A lot of people have said that. Yo, Johnny Zins, welcome back as a member. Thank you for renewing. This madman said, what? I said, yeah, this guy goes bonkers on Twitter, dude. He just goes in. He's crazy. This guy will platinum any game. He's nuts. I guess everyone forgot how it was to buy a PS5 when it was released. Well, I do think this will be a little bit different. I don't think we're going to be dealing with like constrained pipeline of making them. Obviously, they'll sell and they'll be tough to get for at least a while, but I don't think it's going to have something that extends for months, right? I don't think it's going to go on for months. Like, you just couldn't get a PlayStation 5 for a long time unless you, like, follow those people that had, like, the little ping systems. Also, a week after Astrobot and a week before Ragnarok on PC, they will want to promote that PC release too. Yeah. I made a speculation in the video, Detective Seeds. I said, I think that the reason you came forward with the showcase date was you watched the State of Play, you saw the Ragnarok announcement, and you said, oh, these people have good intel. Like, they had told you that the PC release, you know, of Ragnarok, and then they also told you showcase, and then you saw that PC release announcement for Ragnarok, and you're like, oh, these guys have good intel. I made that speculation in the video. That's what gave you the confidence to basically make the post. Can I get a recap? We've got a variety of pieces of information coming out about the PlayStation 5 Pro. I owe you guys 5 members. I'm going to do that while I do the recap. So we have a lot of information coming out about the PS5 Pro. Tom Hendy made a basic tweet and said that, you know, he said, oh, if it comes out, a bunch of people wrote articles saying, like, notable insider hints that the PlayStation 5 Pro might not be coming out in 2024. So then he writes an article and says, no, it is coming, and he has brand new info. And the brand new info was that all games going forward, if you build it for the PlayStation 5, it must support the PlayStation 5 Pro, and that date is September the 15th. Then we have a lot of people speculating that PlayStation returning to Tokyo Game Show for the first time in 5 years is the likely place that they will announce the PlayStation 5 Pro. And so, you know, that I think is a decent theory. It's a decent theory that they would do it first. And then it's a decent theory that they might do their showcase at Tokyo Game Show. Maybe they've made changes to their plans. You know, we have new CEOs now. So they might have said, hey, we need to have a presence at these events. We've been sitting out for 5 years. It's time to get back in there. We might have a different vision. You know, Jim Ryan's vision might have been like, no, we pull out of these events and we do our own thing. That makes us, you know, unique in the industry. And then, you know, now we got Herman Holst, and I forget the name of the other person, but Herman Holst is at the helm, and he might be saying, no, we need to go back to these events. So it was a pandemic, a microchip shortage, and everyone was getting free money from the government, so that made the PS5 borderline impossible to get. That won't be the case for the Pro. I wouldn't be surprised if the demand for the Pro, they're hard to get for like a week or two, but then I think you're right, Mike. I don't think it will last. It's not going to be the same at all. Limiting 1 or 2 units per party would also help, but the scalpers made bot accounts to help with that. So, I mean, maybe the shipping address should have been pinging it, but this guy just says clickbait. Didn't watch the video. LOL. Cry more! Cry more! I don't care if I can see C-3PO's nutsack in 4K detail. Only caring about graphics is ruining modern games. Okay, boomer. I mean, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's the only reply to that. Like, okay, boomer. All right. I'm glad Jim retired. Not saying he was awful, but PlayStation needed new leadership and direction. Yeah, I think Jim Ryan did good things with distribution of the hardware and made good choices, but I also think he misfired on some stuff. I think live service is showing itself to be not the fertile ground that everybody thought it was. Did you see the sneak peek at the PlayStation China Joy booth? I did not. Do you have a link for me? Can somebody put that in the Discord? I'd love to take a look. Well put together video gets me excited for the Pro. You and me both, Raphael. And thank you for that kind comment. That's very nice. PS5 Pro will show PC what real tracing and path tracing looks like. Slow down. I don't think so. No. You guys got to slow down. The PS5 Pro is not going to show PC what real ray tracing and path tracing looks like. You have to understand that any advances that come for the Pro with ray tracing, if AMD's developed, you know, technology with PlayStation, if they've made breakthroughs, that will come to PC. And PC right now, on a very, very well-built rig, very strong rig, can look absolutely breathtaking with ray tracing and path tracing. And I don't believe we're going to be getting that degree of a breakthrough. Zubair's like, what the F did that person say? Zubair is a huge path tracing fan. Yeah, that's you. If you think that's what you're going to be getting out of the PlayStation 5 Pro, I wouldn't even buy one. You're going to be disappointed. That's not what this device is for. The PlayStation 5 Pro is not a device to show up PCs about ray tracing and path tracing. No, it's a device that's going to enable the console market to get ray tracing and 4K without sacrificing performance like frames per second and stability. That's the point. It's going to be basically an upsampling machine that's going to give them then cartilage and a bridge between this generation and the next generation, because the upsampling technology goal is to get like 4K 120, 8K 60. That's the goal. That's probably the goal for that's probably the goal for the PS6. So that's the point of this technology. The point of this technology is not to outshine strong PCs. That is absolutely not the point. That's I don't know what that is. That's probably just a little too much fanboyism. Detective Seeds also said there'd be a new device coming, like a new controller. All respect to Seeds. I don't know if he broke that story. I think a lot of people were reporting on a new controller coming. PlayStation China Joy booth sneak peek. Can you give me the too long didn't read? What are the highlights from that? I don't want to. I'm not trying to. Is it a long video? Is it a long video? What's in this video? It's a minute long. Okay. Hang on 1 second. What price range do you think it'll be at? 6 to 650, 600 to 650. So I'm replying to you, my man Brooklyn Breed. Yeah, 600 to 650. So I don't think they could go much higher than that. I think if they tried to slap 699 on it, I think that'd be a bit of a deal breaker for a lot of people. Yeah. So I would imagine 600 to 650. Thank you for the $2 super chat, Will Broke Boy Lewis, and thank you for the link. And guys, take a quick second, smash the like button. Thank you for all that you do for the channel with likes and with gifted members. Okay, so this is this a legit video we can watch? Okay, yeah, Gamatsu put this up. Okay, so what we got here? We got Astrobot front and center. Hang on a second. Let's go back to the beginning. Said to go back to the beginning. So I have. Okay, so we've got PS5s. We've got the headphones on the right. The VR2 is there. Okay. So maybe they've got some cool VR2 stuff. Maybe we'll finally... what's that up there? That's Helldivers. I'm pretty sure it's Helldivers on that monitor. This has probably been combed over and split apart. And then that's Phantom Blade Zero. And then that's Astrobot. I believe that's the VR2. It looks like where my mouse is circling, it looks like the headset in the center. So, okay, so this is their booth for China Joy. Okay, so this looks like they're going to show up, showcase the hardware, showcase that was Helldivers. Oh, Helldivers is there. Okay, good for them. Yeah, well, it's good that you're on the back. That's where you belong, Concord. No offense. Elden Ring. What's this? Oh, the Hero Project. That's all the different games, right? There's a bunch of different games under that headline. Hang on, let's circle back. Was there any VR? I think they just have VR on display. It doesn't look like they have any VR units set up. Let me go back to the other side. Yeah, these are all stations. All these stations are identical. So unless maybe they'll let you go in this booth. You see this door back here? They might let you go in there. Oh, there's like there's like a couch in there. Maybe they'll do like a stream from in there or something. Maybe they have VR in that room, but it doesn't look like they have VR at the event, just like in the booth or in the case to like show off. Yeah, then that's just like another showcase thing. Oh, you're going to give us a little tour? You're going to do a little walkthrough here? Yeah, I mean, them showing up to this event with this and then finally going back. Wait, what was that? What's that right there? Do you guys know what that is? I'm not trying to like start like rumors or anything. I'm not like, oh, we might have found something. I genuinely don't know what that is. So we've got the controllers. the VR. We've got... They've got... Those are the original versions of the consoles, too. Those aren't even the new versions with the split on the side. Oh, this is like back at the... I guess they're going to have like a station where like, can you buy stuff? Yeah, it looks like they're going to have stations with... That looks like controls with like a mat. Like, people are going to be able to play Astrobot. So, interested to see what the feedback will be. Saw some fake claims on Twitter about like, people are saying that it's lame. It's like the literal opposite of what we've seen. Okay, so Astrobot, I believe that's Phantom Blade Zero. Helldivers. A lot of these, obviously, I can't read. Because that's not my... Oh, Ratchet and Clank is going to be there? Huh. Oh, was that the camera? Oh, is it the camera accessory? I'm curious as to why Ratchet and Clank is going to be there. I mean, I'm not against it being there. Helldivers is ongoing. Elden Ring just had their DLC. I can't speak to the rest of these games, but Ratchet and Clank being there is a little strange. Does that say Elden Ring Online? No, it says Elden Ring, and then there's text beneath it. That might be Shadow of the Erdtree. I'm assuming. I don't know. It doesn't say online. Those are, I believe, those are Chinese symbols below Elden Ring. So Elden Ring is probably the approved logo for the game, because it's not necessarily considered like a language. It's like the logo, but then underneath it probably says Shadow of the Erdtree in Chinese. Update or DLC for Ratchet? I don't know. I honestly don't know. That'll be interesting to see why they're there. I loved Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. Is Ratchet there maybe for the PS5 announcement? Elden Ring may not be out in China? Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Is Ratchet and Clank maybe new to China? Yeah, I don't know how the markets work. That's possible. That's possible. There won't be a PS5 Pro announcement at China Joy, no. I don't think. Do we know the dates for this event? I mean, if they're there with the booth, I'm assuming it's any day now, right? China Joy 2024. It starts this Friday. Well, no, Game Connection Shanghai. Is China Joy a part of the Game Connection Shanghai? Game Connection Shanghai is... Oh, they're combined with China Joy, so you can get a ticket for both. So, yeah. China Joy will start in 2 days. Yep. Yep. Cool. Why is Ratchet & Clank there weird? Isn't it one of PlayStation's first-party games? Yeah, but why would you go to an event where you're announcing new games and literally bring a launch title? That's just weird. It would be just as weird if Returnal was there. If you're showing up to an event to talk about Astrobot and Phantom Blade Zero and the latest update in Helldivers 2, I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying it wouldn't make much sense to have marketing spend and energies put into a launch title. Now, again, it could be new to that market. I don't know. I don't know how, games sold on PlayStation, a Japanese company, and then the Chinese economy. I'm not sure what that looks like. If there's agreements or if there's been, a rift in the past or something. I'm not up on the global economics of PlayStation selling in China. That's not an area that I've done any kind of research, so I can't speak to that. We'll obviously have to wait and see. I mean, I'm excited if they're doing anything with Ratchet. Ratchet's a great piece of property. A Ratchet & Clank remaster for the PS5 Pro. I mean, I don't know if you would announce the remaster at China Joy, because the PS5 Pro is not going to be announced at China Joy. You can almost put money on that. They will either announce the PlayStation 5 Pro at their own showcase or at Tokyo Game Show. It just doesn't stand to reason for them to do it at China Joy. I don't think so. Rift in the past. I see what you did there. I didn't even mean to do that. I didn't even mean to do that. You can at least pull 1440 60 or 120 with DLSS depending on the game. I mean, this is what I think is going to generally start to happen with game performance. I think they're going to continue to lean on upsampling and upscaling. And I think people are going to have to accept that there is absolutely nothing wrong with that. The more advanced upscaling technology continues to get, the better experience we're going to have, because fighting for native 1440 or native 4K is pointless. I watched a video. It's an old video at this point, but the guy basically breaks it down, and he shows how, yes, when you're standing still, you can see the difference between native and upscaled. Once you start moving, it becomes almost entirely impossible to deduce with your eyes. You know? China bans live streams of unauthorized games. More measures by Chinese government to control the country's video game industry. This article indicates Elden Ring was not approved for sale in China in 2022. It looks like Elden Ring may be approved to be sold there now. That's why they'd be at China Joy. So maybe Elden Ring, maybe those Chinese characters beneath it are the release date for over there. Elden Ring was a hit on the Chinese game live streaming platforms, reaching 17 million cumulative daily average viewers in the first week, but it's not approved for sale there. If the below is fully enforced, Elden Ring couldn't be streamed at all. Jiminy Christmas. Looks like maybe there's been some kind of an agreement. I mean, if Elden Ring is showing up to an event in Shanghai, come on, what are we talking about? There's something happened. You work for a living and Wi-Fi isn't good enough to support the PS Portal? What do you mean by it's not good enough to support the PS Portal? What are you referring to? Are you referring to like when you're out and about? Because the PlayStation Portal is getting cloud. It's going to be a $200 cloud device. I think everybody's going to look really stupid in somewhere in the neighborhood of 6 months that said that thing was dumb and a waste and stupid and DOA. It's going to be a $200 cloud device. That also functions as remote play within your own home, and I've used it many times, and it's fantastic. If I want to do a stream with my wife and we want to play a game together, I don't have to rearrange my monitors in here and bring in 2 PlayStations and give her a monitor and give me a monitor. I give her the monitor in the center and I just play on the Portal, and I have like no latency whatsoever. So I think it's a great device. You know, that doesn't mean that you should buy it. That doesn't mean that you should like it. You could look at it and say it doesn't meet your standards, but man, oh man, people were extreme in their response to that thing. For completeness, Zubair says, upscaling does introduce some artifacts, and some people can see them and are bothered by them, but generally upscaling at 4K, upscaling 4K is a really good tool. Well, and a lot of what I was getting at, Zubair, is it's going to continue to get even better. Like, that's why I said that the video I watched was an old video. It's like, that guy made that video a while ago. Like, upscaling is going to continue to get better. And if it gets better, you're going to have to just let go of the idea of, oh, it's not native. It's not. Who cares? If I play a game at 4K 60 with ray tracing, and it's mind-blowing, and it looks phenomenal, and you watch some video where they break it down and they put it in slow-mo and they're like, yeah, but there's some blurring effect and some artifacting and I'll be like, okay, I don't care. Like, I watch tech breakdowns to be like, does it maintain 60 FPS? Yes? Okay. After that, does it maintain just general performance? Are there hitches? Are there stutters? You know, is the resolution dropping that makes the game look literally blurry? Like, are those things happening? Generally, that doesn't happen. I don't know if I've played a game with dynamic res where I was like, oh my gosh, it looks blurry. Final Fantasy 16 would be a good example of this, where in combat, there was the scene in the Digital Foundry breakdown where they talked about internal res dropping, wherever it dropped to. And I was like, in the middle of that fight, I can't tell. I can't tell. You want to pause the game and you want to pause the frame and look at it. Sure, I think that's for people that are like really, really obsessed with that, and that's a huge thing that matters to them. Okay. Well, I'm having trouble ordering a coffee bag. What are you trying to do? You might have to go to the Discord to get assistance with it. I always turn on upscalers unless I'm getting 120 FPS natively. I can guarantee that GT7 will support ray tracing in 60 on the Pro. That's probably one of the games they'll showcase, I would bet, because that's what they're shooting for. They're shooting for, we want you to be able to leave on ray tracing. We want you to be able to run a game at 4K and still get 60 FPS. Like, I don't think people realize what that will mean in the market to be able to walk out and say that about your device. Play this game, play that game, play the latest and greatest game, whatever it is, at 4K 60 with ray tracing. You know what I mean? Like, to me, I think that's going to be powerful in the marketing, because you want to know why it'll be powerful in the marketing? Because it was powerful 4 years ago. Playing Cyberpunk with path tracing is amazing. I use DLSS and it looks amazing. Crazy cinematic fight, says Eugene. Let me pause and zoom in 20 times on this texture in the background, said no player ever. Right, like it just doesn't... It only matters if you're trying to win some fight on Twitter, some squabble where you want to misrepresent a screenshot. It's like, that doesn't matter in reality. It matters in this false reality that people have created, right? Well, okay, so to the average gamer, those things don't matter. That's why I think upscaling is going to continue to become more popular, because the average person can't even tell what's going on. All they know is that it looks really, really good. And 4 years ago, all these things mattered, and everybody got really excited at the prospect of 4K and 60 and getting rid of load times. And if you can walk out in the market and say, our new device, our new console can do 4K with ray tracing at 60, and they show it to you in a game like Gran Turismo or Horizon or whatever, I think that's going to be powerful in the market. That's going to convince people that, oh, that's where we want to take our games to build them. That's where I want to go to buy games. That's a device that I want. It was how they marketed these devices 4 years ago, and it was a powerful marketing push, and it got people to buy these consoles. What do you think is going to happen when they do it again and can talk with higher numbers? I really do. I think people are underestimating, like, well, it's not going to be that big of a bump. I really don't think you understand what that will mean when people hear that. I think most people will say, wait, 4K ray tracing at 60? It'll be just as winsome as when they talked like this 4 years ago, and they talked about getting you 4K and, up to 120 and all these other things. Those were powerful marketing beats that were paraded around everywhere. I think it'll happen again. It'd be more special if it was with a new game and not a game that's 2 to 4 years old. So they're going to release the PlayStation 5 Pro and only do this with old games, Jake? Is that what you think? Or do you think that this is the standard going forward for all games released, especially first-party games? Like, seriously, like, think about what you're saying. You have to know that, of course, going forward, yes, they're going to do this with new games. They're not going to say, oh, yeah, the PlayStation 5 Pro, yep. Really awesome, really great, really strong, can do all these amazing things, only with old games, though. Like, what? That's not even close to being accurate about what's going to happen. You almost have to think they will show a new game with the Pro. Oh, no, I agree with you on that, Jake. Yes. I thought you were insinuating that, like, it needs to be on new games, and it's like, oh, this will definitely be giving you that performance on new games. I think that's why they internally delayed a bunch of first-party games. We learned that at the end of last year. I think teams got their hand on that PS5 Pro dev kit because we were told that it was in circulation with first-party devs end of last year, and then they started distributing the dev kits early this year to third-party. Do you want to know what happened? The first-party teams started tinkering around with the PS5 Pro dev kits, and they were like, holy crap, there's some fun stuff we can do, and I'm telling you, that's why they internally delayed a bunch of first-party games. I think Ghost of Tsushima 2 is one of them. I think Ghost of Tsushima 2 is next year. And I think it was coming this year. I do. I think they internally delayed a bunch because they got their hands on the dev kits and they were like, yeah, we're going to be able to really come out swinging with our titles with this ability to boost these modes that we have, especially if you're Insomniac. What Insomniac did with Ratchet and all those modes they give you now, it's nuts. Giving them more power, giving them upscaling that can like basically utilize the 4K and the ray tracing and not sacrifice frames per second. Of course they're going to say, let's do that. Let's add that to our new title. I think Ghost of Tsushima 2 is the showcase. I think that's going to be a part of the showcase. That's going to be a part of the PS5 Pro announcement. 100%. I don't see why they wouldn't do that. That, again, to me, if you're looking at the first party lineup and how they just went dead quiet, all of a sudden we hear nothing. All of a sudden we hear nothing, we see nothing, and here we go. All the rumors are picking up steam. All the people are talking. Yeah, PS5 Pro is coming, and it's like that's probably why all these first party studios went dead quiet. And we learned from the one earnings report that they internally delayed games. It's like, makes sense to me. And again, if that matters to you, I've had a lot of PlayStation fans come in here and they're really upset. Like, what are the first party studios doing? We need a roadmap. They need to tell us what they're doing. And it's like, none of the platforms do that. Nintendo doesn't do that. Xbox doesn't do that. They don't come out and tell you what the roadmap is. Now, Xbox announces a bunch of things, but they don't give you a roadmap. They don't say, like, here's the dates, here's the times, here's what the studios are doing. Now, I like the Xbox Developer Directs at the beginning of the year because you get to do, like, deep dives and interviews with the devs, and you get a better picture of what's coming. But those are all games that are coming out that year, and we still didn't get dates for virtually most of the titles that they announced. So even they don't give you dates. So I am different than a lot of people in the gaming space when it comes to this. I don't want to hear or see about your game until it's close to coming out. I don't need cinematic trailers for a game that's coming in 3 to 4 years. That doesn't do anything for me. I want to see your game. I want to see gameplay, and you better give me a dadgum release date. I don't care. Or at least a release window. I don't care about your cinematics. Indie studios can put out phenomenal cinematics and make everybody think that, they're going to be playing some insane AAA game. I think that's part of what happened to the Flintlock reviews. I think Flintlock looked like a big AAA game, and I think it's got some rough edges, and it made people be more harsh because the marketing, it looked very, very good. I think even smaller studios can put together really, really impressive cinematics. And so I'm different. I don't need a roadmap. I don't need to know what every studio is doing. I don't. You come and talk to me when your game is close to coming out. That's all that matters to me. So if I hear about Ghost of Tsushima 2 in September, and then it comes out like first or second quarter next year, I'm thrilled with that as a marketing choice. I think that that's exactly how you do it. Especially when people all but assume that it's coming. Obviously, you don't want people assuming it's coming if it's not coming. But if the game is coming, and everybody's sort of waiting with bated breath, like Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, we all knew it was coming. And we didn't get to hear about it until very, very close to the release date of the DLC. I'm telling you, I think that's a great way to do that. They did that with Armored Core. We knew, we had been hearing whispers and rumors that an Armored Core was coming. They announce Armored Core, they show it, and then it's here within what was it? It was 5 or 6 months. It was a very small marketing window. I love that. I love that way of doing it. I do. I think that's a much better way. I think your developers have as much time as possible to make sure that whatever they showcase looks like what they deliver, because you're closer to release. You don't have this big, long window of well, we showed gameplay 3 years ago, and now the game doesn't really look like that anymore. I think you avoid that, video game marketing trope. And you also allow the devs to not have to, focus on, well, we need something to show, so come on, cook something up. It's like, no. Have them do that when you're closer to delivering the game. Can you imagine the marketing for a GTA 6 PS5 Pro Enhanced? Yeah, a lot of people have been talking about that, and while I do think there's a lot of potential there for marketing alignment and, hey, if PlayStation can come out and say if PlayStation can come out and say, hey, we're the best place to play. We are the best place to play GTA 6. I think that's powerful. I'm just kind of holding off on that. It's like, we'll just give that a maybe. We'll give that a maybe. That seems like a possibility. That seems like something they would want to tap into, but I think people are getting ahead of themselves. There's tons of commentary about GTA 6, and it's like, I think everybody's getting ahead of themselves. I think I would just absolutely wait for more information. I would wait for more information. I would wait for them to show more, talk more. You know. Love the Commander Keen profile pic. This guy said, another great video. You're one of the best people talking about gaming news, and he has a Commander Keen profile pic. Very good throwback. Very good shout back. You think that we will have a lot of 10 upgrades on current games for PS5 Pro features? I don't understand the question. Do you think we will have a lot of 10 upgrades on current games for PS5 Pro features? Did you do like text to speech and did you try to say tech upgrades and it thought you said 10? Agreed. 8 to 10 months I'm listening. Anything releasing afterwards? Nope, not interested. See Metroid, Fable, etc. Yeah. Yep. I don't care. The PS5 Pro versus an Xbox handheld is going to get crazy. Well, I don't think that's even going to be... That's not even going to be a point. They're going to offer very different things. Mockwai Ninja with a $5 super chat says... Oh, $10 upgrades is what he means. Isn't the trailer 2 for GTA supposed to drop about the same time as the Pro announcement? I don't know. Do we know officially when the next GTA 6 trailer is? There's so many leaks and rumors and lies about that game. I don't generally pay much attention to it. Okay, so let me go back and read the question. Do you think we're going to have a lot of $10 upgrades on current games for PlayStation 5 Pro features? No. I don't. No. I think the entire point of the PlayStation 5 Pro is to take an existing game and make its performance better. So if you really want to run 4K ray tracing, if the devs do the work, you'll be able to run a 4K ray tracing performance mode. Right? That's enhancing the game to harness stronger power. That's not the same as what they did with The Last of Us 2, and they did the remaster and they added new content and new features, and they're like, hey, if you already own the base game, we'll let you pay $10. Ghost of Tsushima, they did the director's cut. They added features, they added things, and said, hey, if you want this, you can spend $10 to get the upgrade. I think that's categorically different than saying the PS5 Pro can enhance the existing modes. It can make the ray tracing mode or the 4K mode better. I don't see them charging more for that. That's not new content. That's not new features. That's taking an existing feature and making it better. I don't see it. If they did that, I would probably be pretty critical of that. I defended the $10 upgrades because I was like, it's more stuff. They went in and spent time and developed new content, new features, new things. Making your ray tracing mode perform better, I don't need to be charged for that. Like, when they added new performance modes to Ratchet and Clank, I mean, they just did that to do it. Hadigan gifts a member and takes us to 38. The member count is not going where it needs to go. If you guys want to have that Friday night creature stream, you guys are going to have to pull out the big guns, and you're going to have to do it fast. It'd be small patches like making God of War 2018 and Horizon Forbidden West. Yeah, like when they upgraded God of War 2018 to do 4K checkerboard 60 FPS, that's just like a free performance update. I don't think they would charge for performance updates. That's not the same as adding content or adding features. Those are entirely different. That's not the same. I think it's a valid question. I don't think it would be a valid thing for them to do. Like, so you went in and you harnessed an upscaler, because again, remember, this is according to leaks, obviously. According to the leaks, the PSSR technology has been designed to require very little dev time to harness it. It's not going to be them having to completely build new stuff. It's going to be, no, you harness this upscaler so that you can take a 4K ray tracing mode, and you can lower the internal resolution, and that way performance doesn't have to drop to 30. Things like that. That's not the same as, well, we added this new content, this new gameplay, this new feature, and it's $10 if you want these new things. So yeah, I would have an issue if they charge for that. I would be critical of that. I don't think it would be very good to gouge your most committed audience members, the people who were first in line early adopters, bought a PS5 Pro, and you start charging them $10 to have the games run a little bit better. Could they charge for a patch that added a 60 FPS mode? I mean, they could. I don't think that they should. And this, again, is just my opinion. My opinion is that if you're doing patches that improve performance, that should not be monetized. That should not be monetized. Quality of life should never be monetized. Content, or I've been saying features, because some of those features essentially change the content itself, whether it was the 3D audio or the voice acting update that they did with the lip sync issues, and I forget some of the other things that they added. I can't remember, but it was $10. It was totally optional. You didn't need it. But if you do quality of life and you charge for it, I feel like you've wandered into a very, very bad category. Oh yeah, we patched the game. Like, imagine if Plague Tale Requiem would have done that. Imagine if Starfield would have done that. Hey, we added a 60 FPS mode, and if you wanted it, it's $5. I don't think that would work. I think that that's viewed in a different category than, well, we added entirely new pieces of content. We added all these brand new features and all these game-changing things. That's not the same as like, well, we added a 60 FPS mode. So I don't think they will charge. I don't. I have no fear of that being a thing, because I think that would be a terrible, the optics on that would be terrible. Like a Cyberpunk 2.0 situation. Yeah, so like Cyberpunk 2.0 was totally free, right? It was totally free, but then they charged for Phantom Liberty. Do you see the difference? Like, categorically, it's like, this is content, this is not. So everybody who owned Cyberpunk could get the 2.0 update as long as you were next gen. They left behind old gen with, what was it, the 1.6 update? It was 1.6, I think, 1.5, 1.6, somewhere around that time. They left behind old gen. And when they did that, they basically put the game on a track to like be massively different with 2.0. And then when they delivered the 2.0 update, they just let everybody have that for free. And if you felt like, wow, the game's been really overhauled, I really like this, then you could buy Phantom Liberty if you wanted. So I would imagine that's the split and the divide that I would hope PlayStation also says, hey, if you're going to go back into the game and you're going to turn all of the 4K ray tracing modes into 60 FPS modes, great. We want that. We want as many games as possible to have the PS5 Pro enhanced label, but what we don't want is you charging money for that. Like, I don't think... Imagine saying, yeah, you can buy this stronger console and then pay more money to get better performance on all these games. Like, that'd be like, imagine if you upgraded your rig and you get like a 4090 video card, and then you go to Steam and they're like, unlock the 4K modes, unlock the ray tracing modes for $5. You'd be like, get the what? No! Like, you'd be pretty ticked. When does the leak believe that the Pro will be released? Tom Henderson had basically set the world on fire with one tweet, and then he put out an article and said that according to his sources, game developers have been told if they're going to develop a game for PlayStation, it has to support the PlayStation 5 Pro if their game releases after September the 15th. it stands to reason then that the PlayStation 5 Pro is coming in the fourth quarter of this year. The announcement will likely happen early September. That's my prediction. And then it'll be released and you'll be able to, pre-order in October, and then you'll get them in November. That's been my prediction for a while. Whether or not the announcement happens at their showcase or Tokyo Game Show, or maybe they do a showcase at the Tokyo Game Show, there's a lot of moving parts there that could be shifting around because they've not been at Tokyo Game Show for 5 years. So that could be a pretty significant change in the marketing strategy. Like Jim Ryan gets out, Herman Hulst and the other CEO are now in charge, and they could be like, nope, change of plans. We're taking the showcase at Tokyo Game Show. Like, that could have been a shift. Do you think Rise of the Ronin would benefit from the Pro, or was that an internal issue? I think that the developers would have to harness the upscaling, and they'd basically have to then say, okay, so performance mode, we're going to harness the upscaling to take some of the load off of the processing when you're like in the open world and stuff. Because it was bad. Like, I love doing shows with Kirk, but he and I are very different. I detect frame drops and frame stutters instantly. He doesn't seem to detect them as quickly, and that's common. Everybody's different. There are people who are like, I don't notice it, I don't see it, I think the game runs fine. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's stuttering all of the time, it's hitching all of the time. So everybody's experience is, your mileage is going to vary depending on the monitor or TV you're using, how far away from the TV you're sitting, if your TV's got a good VRR feature that's been turned on, so when the variable refresh rate basically kicks in to help with frame drops or, frame rate drops, they might smooth those rough edges. Maybe motion blur doesn't bother you, so you leave motion blur on, and then motion blur hides some of it from you. There's a handful of reasons why some people don't see it, but I don't know. Rise of the Ronin, I think the developers would have to go in and really push. And I'll be honest with you, I don't get the impression that they would. I don't think I ever saw a patch come out that said, yeah, we really targeted a lot of the performance inconsistencies and frame rate issues. It was like they didn't even really focus on it. They focused on other things, which is fine. I thought Ronin was a completely fine game. It was like I gave it probably a 7.5, a weak 8, or a really strong 7.5. Like a completely fine, good, playable game. There was nothing about it that made me say, oh, this is excellent, you must play this, right? Once I land an 8.5 or 9, that to me is like, this is a must play, you got to play this. The closer you get to 10, that's award-winning. That's in its own category almost. So I don't know if Rise of the Ronin, devs would prioritize that. Kingslayer says Team Ninja's always focused on gameplay, and they delivered in that department. They did. The moment-to-moment combat and the different stances and the parries and all the different things, all the different moves you could do, I thought they did a very good job with those elements of the game. But then you'd get into the open world and performance was poor. Or you'd be moving through a house and there was fire and smoke and it would just tank the frame rate. It was very, very rough in some spots. And the only two games that have really frustrated me this generation with performance on PlayStation has been Rise of the Ronin and Final Fantasy 16. Everybody else has really, really set and met that high bar of, I expect very good performance and very good graphics, and I've gotten that from basically every game except for Ronin and Final Fantasy 16. And Final Fantasy 16 is a bit of a mixed bag because it's beautiful, and I feel like performance is great in combat, and then outside of combat, and especially in the towns, it's really bad. And I don't know if they're ever going to go back and update the FSR and give us dynamic resolution when we're in towns or the open world. I really hope that they would. I basically stopped playing because it was awful. I hated that part of the game. It just was so annoying. And I continued with Ronin because Ronin, I could sort of eat around it, and I was enjoying the story and the characters, and I was really enjoying the combat. So, yeah, I heard that Rebirth had a couple of bad spots as well. I didn't play that one. That's not really my... Final Fantasy's not typically. Final Fantasy is typically not my cup of tea, which is why Final Fantasy 16 hooking me was so, it was such a pleasant surprise. I think that drove some of my disappointment because I was so pleasantly surprised. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm really enjoying this. But yeah, performance issues are the quickest way for me to get irritated with a game. Let me add that despite whatever card the Pro is equivalent to, the visuals will be better. The Sony devs are wizards. Spider-Man 2 has no right looking as good as it does on that hardware. Yeah, and I again, Zuby, I think that's why a bunch of games got internally delayed. Yeah. Final Fantasy 16 should naturally get better performance. I mean, you would hope so, Eugene. You would hope so. I personally think there is an imperative on that company to make that game run better. I do. After you did all those interviews talking about how it was going to show off the power of the PS5 and, you know, oh, it's going to be amazing and, you know, oh yeah, we don't want to bring it to PC until it can be truly optimized. Okay, I'm holding you to all of that then. It's not truly optimized on the PlayStation 5, and it should be. If you're going to make the PC guys wait longer than 6 months because you're prioritizing optimization, then you should prioritize optimization on the first platform that you landed on. But I think that that's fair. I think I'm being fair and I think I'm being reasonable. The way you marketed it, the way you spoke about it, both with how it was going to run on PS5, as well as why it wouldn't just automatically come to PC 6 months later. Okay, Yoshi P, I'm holding you to a better standard of optimization. It's not, Final Fantasy 16 is not optimized well on the PlayStation 5 when you're in performance mode. It's not. It's not. Dropping into 30s and 40s of frame rate in a game that proves you can get flat 60 in combat, I think that that's ridiculous. I don't think there's an excuse for it. I really don't. I don't accept any of the excuses people have given me. It should have been a priority, and it should be better. And now, after all this time, I'm even more irritated by it. It's like, by now, it should have been updated. It should have been fixed. And it hasn't been. And I find that irritating because I know the DLC is good from what people are saying. And I want to finish the game. I was enjoying it. So. Spider-Man 2 really is a good-looking game. Can't wait to play. See what Wolverine's going to look like. Yeah, I hope that Wolverine can stand on its own. You know, I hope it can. Don't do a little James Stewart right there. I don't know if I did or not. I don't know if I did or not. I end up sometimes sounding like I'm channeling certain people. And I don't mean to. Somebody said something the other day, like somebody said screwy, and I was like, oh, you're screwy. You're screwy. Bert, do you know me? I don't want the families over here. I always say, I'll say that to my wife around the holidays, just like, you know, people are coming over. Oh, the family? I don't want the family over here. Oh, man. I had one issue, and it was the first hideaway. There wasn't any frame drops for me after that spot. Oh, when I got to the new place, it was terrible. There's the big time lapse, and then we're at the new place. Open world sections were awful, Liquid. I don't know how you didn't see it. Would you like look away from the TV? The first hideaway made me stop playing. Is that the one I'm talking about, where they time lapse and we're suddenly in a new place? Because that one's bad. It's like, what is this? The open world was like somewhat tolerable, you know, because you could quickly get into combat and kind of be like, oh, whew, give my eyes a rest. Yes, I did see the Helldivers 2 update, and I think it looks good. I think they need to push for a bigger, like, 2.0 moment, and I think they really need to push out a philosophy of chaos and power. I think they need to stop worrying about balance. The sooner that Helldivers 2 stops worrying about balance, the better the game will be. It will. Embrace the chaos. Make it a part of the lore. What are we doing? You know? Every month or so, you know, Helldivers, we've discovered some malfunctions in your weaponry that's making it a little too strong and a little too dangerous. And they adjust them down. but then they adjust some others up. Like, you can literally, within the lore and the chaos and the tongue-in-cheek nature of that game, you can constantly be making the game crazy, fun, powerful, nuts, and then put some stuff down a little bit, and then raise some other stuff up. There should always be, listen to me now, listen, Helldivers 2, there should always be a busted meta. Just embrace it. There should always be a busted meta. So every season, every war bond, every whatever, there's a busted meta. There's something fun, crazy, stupid, powerful, broken that everybody gets to rally around and have a fun time with. And just make it a part of the game's charm. Like, you want to balance the game? Go ahead. Balance is boring. Always has been, always will be. Balance is boring. Nobody plays a game like that to be like, well, we want it to be fair out here. You know, we don't want the aliens dying too fast. Boom. Like, no one plays a game and thinks like that. No one's like, yeah, I can't wait to play this game where everything's totally fair and balanced and, you know, I don't want to be too strong. Like, yes, there's extremes. You don't want to land on a planet and use a pistol and one-shot everything. Don't you feel powerful? No. The gun's very powerful. Why don't you feel powerful? Because there's no interplay. There's no feeling of overcoming anything. But goodness gracious, the difficulty in that game scales up so far. It's like you could make people insanely strong, and it would still feel awesome. Balance is boring. Ship it. Just publish a blog that says that, Arrowhead. Balance is boring. It's a fool's errand, and it's the fastest way of driving people out of your game. You think you're going to figure it out? You literally have the hubris to think you're going to figure out balance in a game like that? What? You know? No one else has been able to figure this out. Every other game has a pendulum of a swinging meta. Oh, but you're going to figure it out. Okay. All right. Sure. You go right ahead. How's that working for your player base numbers? Jiminy Christmas. I'll jump back into Helldivers 2 when the Freedom Update launches. I haven't played since like mid-April or so. I'm going to tell you one of the best things they could do for the April update. Do you want to know what it is? I was wrong this morning when I said that they should be out here talking about how they're going to make everybody powerful again. Don't say anything. Don't say anything. Shadow buff a bunch of stuff and don't say a word. Let that game and that community do its job. Because if all of a sudden people are, I think they shadow buffed that, videos, tweets, Reddit posts, they'll all start blowing up. And you know what will happen? Organic resurgence will happen. So if I was in charge, I would say, I want you to ghost buff a crap ton of stuff, and we're not going to say a word. We're just going to let this game and the community do its job. Do you want to know why you don't say anything? I'll tell you why. If you say right now, we're going to make a bunch of stuff powerful in the next update, everybody's going to come back with like a skeptical eye. Well, I don't know. It doesn't feel that much stronger. They said they were... No, don't say a word. Don't say anything. Who's still making videos about that game, though? I mean, there's plenty of channels. Tweets would go viral. Reddit threads would go viral. It would happen. Trust me. I believe that it would. If they suddenly started ghost buffing a bunch of stuff and people were just having an absolute blast and blowing stuff up and feeling awesome and feeling godlike, yeah, you would see organic resurgence. Now, I'm not saying that the game would hit its previous heights, but you would certainly see, I think, a good response. People would respond positively to that. Say, what now? Oh, dude, I'm coming back. That was the most annoying thing. They nerfed everything. It's going to be very difficult for them to completely alter their messaging. I stopped kind of paying attention to the game Reckless. Did they come out and strongly and definitively speak about their goals for balance? Like, is that something that they've done? I mean, you can walk back anything. You can walk back anything, dude. You know? Doesn't matter when the guns are locked behind bonds. Yeah, I mean that's another shift. That's another shift, I think. Maybe I need to do a video, you know, how to save Helldivers, you know, because people go, it doesn't need saving. I think it does. I think they've got some philosophies that are going to drive the game off into the sunset, and it doesn't need to. I think they're scrappy, they're plucky. I think they've got good ideas. I think they just need to reassert a vision of chaos. Introduce a little anarchy. Like, you got to embrace chaos, I think, in a game like that. I don't think you can push for balance. You think people that have taken months off are going to come back, see like 5 war bonds with gear they'll never earn and be excited? I've talked about that in the past as well, Eugene. You got to drop the prices on all those war bonds. I would even just give them to people after a while. Every 6 months, the oldest war bond should just be free. You just bing, 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 bing. Hey, here's a bunch of free stuff. Well, what about the people that bought it? I mean, I don't know. Your early access. You know? Your early access. That's a good point, though. What do you do with that? If people bought them, then you want to give them away. The premium. Yeah, the premium aspect of it really complicates things. Yeah, the new enemies and modes look great. I think they look great. I'm just advocating for a bunch of ghost buffing, and they shouldn't say anything. I think that would be a great way to create an organic resurgence in the game. So. This guy said, for some reason, I feel like they might reveal the PS5 Pro in the new Astro Bot game. I'm saying Easter eggs for sure. I doubt an announcement. I think they'll just put Easter eggs in there. So. Helldivers 2 needs a world boss type fight where all the Helldivers have to report to a certain planet. I have a question. If PlayStation ever gets Halo, will the PS5 Pro fix Craig and make him look better? I mean, there's a lot of speculation floating around about games, you know, Xbox games, you know, making the jump. And I'm kind of to the point where I don't need convinced that it's going to happen. I'm more curious about what are the optics once the Pro is in circulation. You know, what are the optics? If we heard from people that are upset about this, so I don't think they're clout chasing. They're upset that, like, first party Xbox property is coming to PlayStation. What does that look like when the PS5 Pro is in play? I don't know. I don't know if that even matters to Xbox at this point. I don't think that matters to them. I think it'll certainly matter to people, you know, and the response could certainly be negative. But I don't think that Xbox cares if they have property land multiplat and it runs better on the Pro. How do you avoid that? It's unavoidable. It's practically unavoidable. It's going to be the strongest console in the market, so games are just naturally going to run better there. You know, you can kind of overlook minor differences right now with, like, Hi-Fi Rush looked and ran better in certain respects with, like, shadows and stuff. You know, Sea of Thieves. Like, you can overlook those. Those were, I think, more minor. But what are you going to do if, you know, if it's true that this Gears game is coming? By the way, I think the job posting about Gears, I think people were stretching. I don't think that job posting was an indication that Gears is coming to PlayStation. I think if Gears comes to PlayStation, it's because there's an internal philosophy shift at Xbox, not because of a job posting. The job posting was a stretch. I only asked the question if they would fix Craig because PlayStation has already fixed Sea of Thieves with the crack. I'm not sure what you're talking about with Sea of Thieves and being complete and all these updates for Starfield. Yeah, I mean, again, Xbox games run best on PC anyway. They don't care. That's actually a really good response, honestly. I think that's a good response. It's like Xbox hasn't cared about games running better on their consoles for a long time. That's actually a really good response. I think that's a fair response. I think that's thoughtful. It's like, what do you mean? You know, that's a blind spot maybe in how I was looking at it. It's like they already don't run best on the Xbox. That's not been a priority since they decided to go, day and date on PC. So yeah, they're not going to care if it runs better on the PS5 Pro. The philosophy is put the games everywhere. Make as much money as you can. It's a completely different era for the brand. Yeah, I don't know if the scalpers are going to be as bad. They learned some good lessons gaming for the future. But yeah, I'm definitely going to try and get one day one. Thoughts on the rumors of a 2026 next-gen Xbox? I think it's copium. Official leaked documents said 2028. I'm not sure where the 2026 thing came from. I could see a handheld in 2026, and then I could see the PC hybrid that we've heard about, where you can sideload Steam. I think that's probably 2028. I think it would be more likely that you would get a handheld in 2026, and then you would get their next. It's not going to be a console. I'm telling you right now, the marketing for the next console that they build, it's almost assuredly going to say something to the effect of more than a console. I think that's going to be the whole point, is that this is more than a console. I really truly believe that. They're going to try to have this full court web of places that you can engage with them. Fire Stick, Smart TV, handheld, the cloud, PC, mobile, and then they're going to have this box thing. They might even just call it Xbox, because that's all it's going to be. I mean, an Xbox, it's just a box, more than a console. They're going to be limited per account and probably require an invite to pre-order, probably only available on Sony Direct at first. I really hope that's the case, Eugene. One example of that not being the case, Redfall was worse on PC, even though the console version was 30. Yeah, but I mean, running to a terrible game is not a very compelling argument, Lone Wolf. Redfall was in an atrocious state when it launched. It wasn't ready. Consistently, games have come out and run better on PC. Starfield, Hellblade 2. They haven't prioritized making sure their games run best on console in a long time. And so I think that's a very fair pushback to what I was saying. It's like, no, they're not going to care if a game runs better on PlayStation. They certainly don't care now with Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves. They're certainly not going to care once the PS5 Pro is out. They haven't even cared before now. They've had games hitting PC running better. I just think that it's taken people a long time to accept that reality. I think they truly were in this, they were truly in a thought that console was still a huge priority, and the more and more it became clear that it wasn't, you saw, Phil try to push back on that notion multiple times. You're not second-class citizens. So the PS5 Pro, I think it's going to play a role in, in how people view where they can play a game, where they can get a game. I think it's going to play a role in developers, where they want to build their game for. Fair enough. Generally, you're right. There are exceptions. Yeah, but exceptions typically prove the rule, right, Lone Wolf? It's like if you have somebody outside the bell curve, they almost draw more attention to the bell curve. I feel like Sony and Xbox are going to both come out with a handheld to compete with the booming handheld market. Maybe Sony has a dual release with the PS6. Yeah, I don't think you're wrong there. I think that PlayStation does have plans for an actual native handheld. I think the next stage they're going to do is they're going to introduce cloud to the PlayStation Portal. So, will scalping be a problem with the PS5 Pro? I think it will be there, but I don't think it will play the role that it did with when the PS5 first came out. Basically, scalpers took advantage of a constrained market, and they took advantage of constrained pipelines and distribution, and they basically choked an already choked point. It was like, oh my gosh, it's going to be harder for them to get that leverage if it's just easier to get. Like, one of the reasons scalpers were so successful when the PS5 dropped was because you were like waiting and waiting and waiting. It wasn't like, oh, I'll try again next week. Ooh, cool, I got one. Oh, I'll try again in 48 hours. It was, you're going to have to wait like a month. Like, that was one of the reasons the scalpers were able to get such a foothold in the market. I don't think that happens again because I think it'll be easier to get them. I think PlayStation has made measures and taken measures that makes it more difficult for scalpers to have the success that they do. I want scalpers to lose money. I think they're scum. I do. I think they're scumbags. In every market that they show up, I think they're scum. I think they're opportunistic, market disruptive scum. I don't have any respect for them. And I like when they lose money. The more they get economically motivated to not do it, the better that is for the consumer, and the better that is for the free market, for people to be able to go buy what they want to buy. I mean, imagine really Sorry, it sounded like somebody got hurt. Imagine really, really wealthy people flexing that in the market right now. You wouldn't think the same way. You wouldn't. Like, we all think, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal. Really, really wealthy people could completely ruin your ability to get access to certain things. And you should be really glad that they don't do it. You should be glad there's even protections in certain aspects of certain items that they can't do that. They can't go in and buy it all up so that you can't get it, and then they sell it to you and up. You should be very happy that's not happening in certain markets. Scalpers are scum. Just period. Yeah, it was, and people did that during the sickie. That's right. They were buying up like hand sanitizer and toilet paper. That mentality is no different. That's scummy. You know something's going to be high in demand. You know the market's going to be clamoring to get something, and you're trying to make a quick buck, and you're taking advantage of people. Like, there's nothing in that. There's nothing honorable or respectable about it. It's gross. It's gross. And I like when they lose money. It's what they deserve. It's a form of justice when they lose money. I hope every single time people try to do it, they lose money. Because then they're more economically motivated to not do it, and then that's better for the market and the general consumer. I'm always more concerned with the general consumer than freaking scalpers. Xbox dropping a handheld while PlayStation releases a Pro is going to be interesting. I don't know. I don't even see that. I don't see that angle. And you want to know why? Because they're not going to come out in proximity with each other. They don't come out with. They're not going to come out within proximity of each other. I sadly sometimes reinforce scalping behavior as I'm not willing to wait. Right, MASH. That's part of the problem. The people that are most hurt by scalping are the people that are like, I can't afford to pay more. This is all I can afford. And you're like, I have more money than time. I would rather just spend it instead of waiting. You know, got limited time. I don't have limited resources. Here you go. And you buy a PlayStation 5 Pro for $800 because you're like, I don't freaking care. You know, that's the dilemma. Is the people that pay into it aren't hurt by it, and the people that are hurt by it can't pay into it. So it just ends up creating a divide. The way Sony releases things on Direct, as long as other retailers have them, scalping shouldn't be an issue. Yeah. I was actually really glad that when we heard that Nintendo was delaying the Switch 2 to next year. I was glad when they were like, yeah, we don't want distribution to be an issue. I was like, good. Anybody that makes it harder for scalpers they win in my book. I cheer for that. Absolutely cheer for that. You won't buy from a scalper on principle? Yeah. Mm-hmm. People were buying up weight loss medication that was meant to be for diabetics. What? Golly. Oh. The depravity of man knows no limits. People need this medication to survive. I would like to make some money. Like, gee, it's up to the original seller to make an effort to take care of their customers. As always, I have a hard time putting responsibility on the individual consumer. You mean as far as like not just going and buying from a scalper, Zubair? I'm not sure what you mean. Like, are you saying like individual consumers, look, man, you're free to go do whatever you want, you know, because it's up to the distributors and it's up to the companies to protect the consumer? Supply chain issues were also a big reason for scalpers to be successful. Those issues shouldn't be present now. I agree with you. I agree with you, Eugene. I agree. I don't think it's going to be as big of an issue this time. Maybe that's a little bit of hopium. You know, I am hoping that that's the case. You know, because I want one. Nice profile picture. Wait, who are you talking to? I'm assuming he's talking to Lowe's? L-O-Z? Laws or Lowe's? The Pink Floyd one? They had to get a perception for it, and it's a felony to sell. They had to get a prescription for it, and it's a felony to sell meds. Kind of different. Well, sure, but still, it's the heart. It's the heart of it. You know? Dark Side of the Moon Prison variant. There you go. Eugene is a big Pink Floyd fan. I feel like Xbox needs to upgrade their streaming. You can only play Xbox games at 1080 when streaming. If they want to compete with Sony, streaming at 1440 or 4K. Yeah, cloud gaming is an interesting subject because I do think that there need to be upgrades. You know, Windows Central, Jez Corden has been big on this, that there was the promise you'd be able to have your library on the cloud, and that has taken a really long time to come to fruition. Come to find out, it's been a licensing issue. The individual games that you own, their TOS and their license, the EULA, it has to allow for that, which is a huge snag. That's one area where the portal got around that. You are not playing on the cloud. You are playing the software remotely on your PlayStation. Which is one of the reasons why the PlayStation Portal getting cloud is a delayed thing. They're having to go through the same thing. They're going through a license thing. When they add cloud to the PlayStation Portal, you know, it'll be games that are, you know, cloud approved. And so Xbox is dealing with the same thing. So while I agree, yes, you need better features, you need all of those things that make cloud better, I just think infrastructure is always going to be a major snag point. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Infrastructure is the snag point. Like, okay, yeah, great. You get all these great features and cloud looks awesome. But if my neighborhood's internet sucks, who cares? Who cares? It doesn't matter. You have a lot of faith in people speaking on the heart like that, better than me. I'm not sure what you mean. Guys, take a quick second and smash the like button. We've been streaming for about 2 hours. And don't forget, we have relaunched ReforgeRoast.com. We moved back to our own stomping ground. You may have to do a forgot password when you go to order, but all your stuff should be there. And the Frickmas is back. We're doing Frickmas in July. Limited run of the Frickmas blend, a medium roast. And we have our triple thread available. And it is the cheapest that it's ever been. You can try all 3 flavors of coffee for $48. So check that out. You can use the coffee link below. If you're watching this later or you're listening later, we would love to see a lot of you guys check out the Reforge Roast coffee for the first time. Also, a great way to support the channel directly, this is going above and beyond, is to sign up for your own memberships. If you have a Member Plus or above, you can celebrate your membership and actually impact the goal now. So you can always check that. It's the $sign at the bottom of chat. You can be like, oh, do I have a renewal? If you celebrate your renewal and your Member Plus or above, you get to boost the goal as well. You guys are going to have a big hill to climb. We've had a slow start this week. We're going for 600 members. Friday night with Creature this week. You guys came close to 600 last week, and I did. I honored the goal. I played the scary game on Friday night. So we're gonna continue to do that. Every 25, I got to give 5 back, and I already did that both yesterday and today. No, we no longer ship outside the U.S. because it's a headache and it's not worth it. Numerous times, people would do it and they'd spend more on the shipping than the coffee, and I felt like that was bad. I don't feel like that's good for the customer to have to give, $50 or $40 to the post office to get a bag of coffee or 2 bags of coffee. There was also a couple of times where I had to pay for the label because something got snafu'd in the process, and they paid, a very small amount for shipping, and then I had to buy a very expensive label. So that's another reason why we just don't do it. It's not worth all the headaches. Dustin Straw renews for 24 months. That's a red badge. Welcome back, Dustin. You just make this a sad day for me. Yeah, lightly. We've been doing it for a couple of years, and it's just never been an enjoyable process. It either ends up costing the customer too much, or it costs me a bunch, and it's just like, this is a nightmare. A $40 or $50 label, it just feels bad. I don't like. It's like, if you want to support me, you can gift members, and then other people benefit from that instead of handing $50 to the post office. It's like, shipping rates are bonkers. They're bonkers. And you're like, oh, I want to support Lono. Oh, okay. If you buy a $15, $16 bag of coffee and then pay the post office $50, it's like, oh golly, don't do that. I feel like that's such a waste of your money. I genuinely feel like that's a waste of your money. I don't like the customer paying for stuff that is exorbitant like that. I don't feel like you're getting value out of that. That doesn't feel right. It's just in Lono hates the post office. It's really sad, Lono, but I can understand it. Yeah, I feel bad. Did you get the label print figured out? Yeah, we figured it out. It's a whole new flow that I have to do. But it's some level it's going to be better for me because I'll be able to just print 2 at a time instead of feeding the label back through. Never order because Switzerland was ridiculously expensive, even outside of the EU. Also thought I'd rather buy membership than postage. Right, like I'd rather you save your money. Your money's going to go a lot further if you save it and just pay for a membership every month. That supports me, and that's a better use of your money instead of like blowing it all on shipping. I'm like, that just seems silly. And we want people to gift members. That's a huge thing that we do here. It's good for the community. It's good for what I do. And it's like, you could have gifted 10 members instead of having coffee shipped to Australia or wherever, So I don't like the customer paying for something that they're not actually getting. It's like, if you gift members, you get celebrated, you get thanked, you get to help the community. If you buy coffee or buy your own membership, you get something in return. If you buy merch, if you hand $50 to the post office, it's like, you don't really get anything for that. I mean, you get the coffee, but you're already paying for the coffee. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There was a while there where we did hoodies the one year, and I set the commission on the hoodies to like $1 because I was like, I don't care about making money off the hoodies. I just wanted people to have them. Like, it was just fun. It's like, oh, when we had the red versus blue hoodies. Yo, Darius gifts some ember and takes us to 39. They were like the Tron hoodies, and you could choose Team Blue or Team Red or whatever. It's like... I've consistently had people tell me I should charge more for the coffee, and I'm like, no, I want it to be, you know, priced where the market price is coffee. I don't want to, like, feel like I'm overcharging. Thank you for gifting that membership to LOZ. And we're now 11 members from 50. And we're going to go to members in 8 minutes. We're going to go to Writer's Room in 8 minutes. Team Pony for Team Blue. Well, back then, I never had ever been called a pony. Back then, I primarily played on PC. Yeah. And we consistently sold merch at the lowest. V-Game Veteran sets up the 10 bomb. He gifts a member 40 out of 50. There it is. Thank you so much. I remember when I was conversing with somebody, it was spring.com. They had a different name back then. And I was like, can we just set the commission to the lowest possible? And she was like, are you sure? I was like, yes, I don't care. I just want people to get cool merch. She was like, she'd like triple check. She's like, so you want me to set the commission to as low as possible? And I was like, yeah. Sheriff Bruce Lee with the 5 bomb takes us to 45. Don't forget, you can make Creature play Overcooked with me on Friday night if you guys hit the goal. You guys are going to have to scramble. You're going to have to get some of the big boys to come in and drop those big member bombs and tag team it up. We've done it before. Before Lona was called a pony, that must have been a long time ago. You should make a blue shirt with a pony wearing glasses and Jimmy Neutron hair. And it says, Loney the Sony Pony. I don't mind leaning into it a little bit, but I don't want to lean into it that much. Right. I think self-deprecation is good for the soul. You know, I've definitely just looked past a lot of that. It's like, I just don't care. You know, if people want to name call and call me whatever they want, that's their own personal journey. That's their own personal journey, you know, that they're on. And if that's something that they want to do with their life, go ahead. But I don't want to lean into it so much that I'm like making merch that like makes fun of me. I don't like that. That seems kind of weird. A Salty Gamer comes in. The Salty Gamer, sorry, with a 5 bomb and takes us to 50. And a 10 bomb comes in. We got a little train going right now. Oops, that's not supposed to be out there. There it is. The 10 bomb takes us to 60. That's Agents of Chaos Therapy Quantified says, come on, boys. Watching Lono and Creature and Madam play Overcooked is worth the price of admission. And just like that, we're at 60 members on the day. I owe you guys 5. I'm going to do that now, so I don't forget. Thank you guys so much for the support, man. It's amazing to see. Always good to see people getting memberships. If you guys ever want to upgrade those memberships, it's $1, and then you count on the goal every month. How much are 10 memberships USD? $50. Yeah. That's why I said, I was like, you want to give $50 to the post office? Like, you can bless some people with memberships. Like, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter to me. It's like, you can spend your money on however you want. You can buy a bag of paper clips for $100 for all I care. But, you know, if you're trying to support me, that's way better. Pay up. I paid up. There's the 5 that I owe. Here it's 85 USD if I convert. That doesn't seem right. No, it's $5 a membership. That seems crazy, Leap. What are your thoughts on Light No Fire still not releasing a drop date? I don't find that concerning. Yeah, I don't find that concerning. I think that as far as I can tell, they're adding technology from Light No Fire into No Man's Sky. Test running some of it, but I also think that's because the 2 games are going to be connected somehow. The No Man's Sky Worlds Part 1 update, I think, is just the beginning. I think when that has its culmination, I think at some point there will be something in No Man's Sky that is connected somehow to Light No Fire. An announcement, an Easter egg, an expedition, we discover a planet that we can't land on or something. I don't know. Are you using an iPhone to pay? Yeah, it could be iPhone boosts the price. It does. They're using an exchange rate from like 2000. What? I feel like Nintendo is more for casual gamers since it attracts families with children. That's always going to make more money, but as long as Sony and Microsoft make good games, they'll survive. Yeah, I don't disagree with you. And Siege Master sets up a 10-bomb dunker, 65 out of 75 members. Thank you for the 5 gifted members. Siege Master, you guys are scrambling at the end here. Let's see if we can't get that count to 100. You guys are going to need it. You're going to need to scramble if you want that Friday night creature stream this week. We'll still stream no matter what, by the way. I don't like dangle the stream like, oh, you guys don't gift enough. I'm not streaming. We do the stream no matter what. It's just we add in fun things like creatures showing up. You know, he would prefer to go and just chill on a Friday night. He doesn't want to be here playing Overcooked. But my wife and I stream on Friday nights no matter what. Yeah, we don't take away the stream. That's not the thing that we do. Let Hello Games cook. No reason to risk another No Man's Sky situation. Oh, I definitely agree with that. 100%. I got to schedule Writer's Room. I definitely agree with you there. Give them as much time as they need, dude. We do not want another game rushed out before it's ready. I 100% agree. We do not want a game coming to market before it's ready. That would be bad. No Man's Sky quickly was able to, I would say within 12 to 18 months, got the game exactly where it should have been at launch, which was very, very impressive. Given the hate that they had to endure and, the flood and everything else. But, yeah, we don't want that to happen again. That would be bad. All right. I got to refresh the dashboard. It's not letting me set up redirect. Okie dokie. Boom. There we go. They've changed something on the back, and when you go to redirect, you gotta click really fast or the video disappears. Guys, take a quick second and make sure you smash the like button. Make sure it is saving your like. We only need 20 more for 300. Great day today. Nice strong start. You guys really supported the upload, so thank you so much for doing that. And 10 more on the member count to 75, and we're gonna go to Writer's Room. I'll give you guys 2 minutes. I didn't really give you guys a good warning this time. I'll give you guys 2 minutes. I got to get the hyperlink anyway. If you guys hit 75, I'll drop a 10. I'll just do it. I'll match the 10. We need 10 for 75. I'll match it. If you guys scramble here at the end, I will do that while my phone screen keeps turning on. What the heck? Tired of games coming to market and they're not ready. Miss the old days when you go to the store and bought a game, come home, play the complete and finish. Well, I mean, I don't disagree with you, but I also think a lot of those games were much smaller in scope, and a lot of those games had bugs that didn't ever get fixed. Justification renews a VIP. That bumps the line by 1. Takes us to 66. Thank you so much. All right. You guys got 1 more minute, and we're getting out of here. We're going to go to Writer's Room. The closer says, I need a gifted membership. We cannot target people with gifted memberships yet. I've heard that's potentially coming, but yeah, for now, can't target it. Just be here as often as you can. You talk, you smash like, all the things. And Detective Siege with the 10 bomb takes us to 76. I got a match that right there, and that's an Agent of Chaos. He pushes us past the 75 to 100. Thank you so much, my man Detective Seeds, keeping you guys in the fight. You're a little behind on the weekly pacing, but you guys are definitely still in the fight. It is not a lost cause, and the closer gets 1. You love to see it. Now, I'm a man of my word. I said I would match the 10 if you guys got 10 more. Here comes my 10. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel with the gifteds, your renewals, and the like. And there's my 10. You got your wish. You can come to the writer's room. I targeted him. Yeah. Detective Seeds has that feature unlocked. Creature seems like the type of guy that would be a sweat on lawnmower simulator. No, he's actually like, well, his wife's more of a health nut than he is, but like he like eats healthy and he's in shape. Yeah, he's not like, oh, if I play lawnmower simulator, I'm gonna sweat. Back in the day, we had to get PC mags with CDs to get patches on them. That's right. All right. I'll give you guys 2 more minutes. 2 more minutes since Detective Seeds brought the heat. If you guys want to scramble, I'm not doing any more gauntlets though. If you hit 100, I'll do the 5 more that I owe, and then we'll get out of here. I'm gonna give you guys 2 more minutes. This is great. Yeah, I love when somebody's like, man, I want to get a membership, and they get one. It's good to see. I've been deafened in Discord all day. That's remarkable. You know what the worst thing about CDs back in the day was, Light Leap, is I had a paper route, and the Sunday paper was significantly larger, and whenever we had these like plastic bags that also had CDs in them, you wouldn't think it, but that adds up. It takes up more space. They were just a little bit heavier, and when you put a bunch of those in your bag, oh my gosh. And a 5-bomb from Silent Spartan. He says, come on, boys, we're in the fight. He takes it to 81. He's like, we're going to do a little scramble at the end here. Let's hit 100 members. And he hits 81. Sometimes desperately looking for a patch. I remember going to message boards trying to solve a sound glitch that I had. Excuse me. I had a sound glitch in one of the Star Wars Old Republic games. I forget which one. It's got like one of the Inquisitors on the front or something in a red lightsaber. He's like, is he bald or something? Anyways, there was some kind of a sound glitch. Like I could not get the sound to work. And I remember getting on message boards, and there was like a bunch of people that had the same problem, and we couldn't figure it out. Yeah, the AOL trial CDs. That's right. They were annoying. I saw somebody in chat talk about Dredge, so I downloaded it. Me and the wife are about 60% through the game. It's a good game so far. Wait, is it a co-op game? What kind of game is that? I'm always on the hunt for a good co-op game. Something about a bigger boat. Dredge gameplay. You're like a little boat. This doesn't look like it's got co-op. Y'all are just playing through it together. Lone Wolf says, I don't really buy CDs anymore. Mostly moved to vinyls. I buy signed CDs, though. I bought a signed LL Cool J album that's coming out in September. Nice. Nice, dude. AOL and dial-up. It's not co-op? Okay. All right. Gonna give you guys another 2-minute countdown, and we're gonna get out of here. You guys got within 19. See if you can hit it. Appreciate you guys so much. But we can't stay here forever. All right? I don't mind extending a little bit when you guys are pushing like this. We're gonna go to Writer's Room in 2 minutes. I remember the Pizza Hut demo disc. PA, it was a cool idea back in the day. I remember I had a Surge sampler CD, which is where I found Jimmy Eat World. I had a Surge sampler CD. I think it came in like a 12-pack of cans or something, and it had some of the dopest bands on it. Let me see if I can even find it. Surge sampler CD. I wonder if I could find the track list somewhere on Google. No. Was this it? I think this was it. Feed the Rush. I think that's it. Feed the Rush sampler CD track list. We need a track list, dudes. Is this it? Open link in a new tab. Oh, where's the dadgum track list, man? Jimmy World. No, this isn't the one. This is a different one. there was a different one that had, I can't remember which one it was. No, I can't believe nobody on Google has an image of the tracks. I think this is it here. Jimmy World, I Mother Earth. I think. I can't remember. I can't remember now. I just remember it was awesome. It was awesome. All right. Let me give you guys a link. We're going to get out of here. We're going to go to the writer's room. If you're not a member, you know, you can circle back, watch the upload from this morning. PS5 Pro confirmed. Make sure you leave a like and a comment. That video is doing great. I try to reply to as many comments as I can. I'm going to put a link in the chat as well as the Discord. And there we go. All right. Hey, thanks so much for being a member, and you may have gotten a member today. Nice strong day, 81 members. I gifted a bunch as well. I believe I gifted 20. I did 2 5s and a 10, and so thank you so much. If you got that gifted membership, you now have access to this daily segment called The Writer's Room, as well as every morning at 9 a.m. Eastern. We start today with morning coffee. That's just for members. It's a 30-minute segment just to start the day before the uploads and the live stream start. You can also hang out in our members-only Discord, which is linked below. Be sure to do that, and be sure to check out reforgeroast.com and get those coffee orders in. We've been shipping those again, and we rehoused it on our own. I'm going to end the previous stream that was about the details leaked about the PS5 Pro, and I'll make sure and change that thumbnail so it no longer